I know of Jim and Jesse, which I don't imagine there would be too many in Bluegrass that don't know of Jim and Jesse. I mean, they're icons. They are first generation legends in Bluegrass music, for a kid from Mississippi to get the opportunity to go on the road with them at 14 years old is just basically unbelievable when I look back on it. You know, my dad took me to a little schoolhouse to see them play, and he kind of forced me to go. I didn't really want to go that night the first time, but after I got there, it wasn't but a few minutes of hearing these guys play that I wanted to be there, and I was glad I was there. He took me backstage, and they were so kind to me and listened to me play, you know, and I remember my dad telling him, you know, well, if you ever need a banjo player, maybe keep us in mind. I don't know if he thought that they really would or not, but it wasn't too long after that. I probably played for y'all maybe at maybe 12 or something, or 12 or 13. It wasn't that long until Jim called my dad and said, okay, we need a banjo player. Would you let Carl go out on the road with us? And my mom and dad, so much credit to them, not only loving me enough and trusting me enough, but loving these guys enough and trusting them enough to let me go. And couldn't have been better. Couldn't have been a better education. And I had great people at school. My principal let me go. You know, he said, you make good grades, you don't even have to come to school. You know, I mean, you come to school when you can, and if you make good grades, you go do your thing. And so I go out on the road with them on the weekends and miss school occasionally. I didn't miss, you know, but I went ahead and finished high school, made the honor roll, was exempt from exam. The guy thought the right way, and I couldn't have been with two better people in the world. I mean, it was the right school. It was the school of Bluegrass.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the other artists that you brought in
Sure.
to the project.
Okay, well, I was able to bring in a lot of different artists to the Orthophonic Joy project. I mean, I can kind of go through the list of songs somewhat. The first song on the album is a song called I'm Redeemed. And I thought it was the perfect song to start with because the first line of the song says, sweet is the song I'm singing today. And I just kept coming back to that one, that old hymn, and it was sung in the old shape note fashion. And I thought to myself, now who do I need to do that? So I pick up the phone and I call my old buddy Doyle Lawson. And it was the right match. They did such a great job on it. And then, of course, you know, almost everything I do, you know, I always ask my dear friend Emmy Lou to be a part of it. And I've been able and, you know, blessed to do so much work with her over the years. And we've been close friends for a long, long time. And like these guys, like Jim and Jesse, I mean, I owe Emmy Lou so much. And she came on board quickly, and of course she was very familiar and loved Bury Me Beneath the Willow, and I think it was just the perfect fit for her to do that. There's so many other great artists on the record. You know, Vince Gill doing The Soldier's Sweetheart. He wanted to do something by Jimmy Rogers. And Jimmy only did 2 songs on the 27 sessions, The Soldier's Sweetheart and Sleep Baby Sleep. And Vince said, I don't yodel. So we settled for The Soldier's Sweetheart, which was perfect. He did a great job. Gosh, you got the Steep Canyon Rangers and Steve Martin doing Sweet Heaven When I Die, and they just absolutely kill it. I got the great Keb Mo, blues artist, doing To the Work. That all just fell into place. I mean, I really wanted to have Keb be a part of the project, but he was one of the few guys that I didn't really know him. And I'm in the studio talking about it, and my engineer goes, I know Keb. I said, you do? I said, I don't know him. And he said, yeah, I do. He said, you want me to call him? I said, yeah. And you talk about divine intervention. He calls him, and Keb is like a block away from the studio. He literally comes to the studio right then, and we do To the Work. You know, I play him a few things from the original sessions, and he fell in love with To the Work. He said, let's do that one. And we cut it that day, right after, and I'd never met Keb before. He's one of the few artists I didn't know at the time. He was great, did a great job. Gosh, on and on and on. I'm just thrilled with everybody on it. So many new artists are on it also. The Church Sisters, I had the girls on the Mark Twain project. They sang "I Wandered by Brookside" on that project, which was originally recorded by Eva Cassidy. So that tells you right there how great they sing, you know. And I wanted them to do something on here, and they picked Where We'll Never Grow Old because they've always sung it in church. So a lot of things fell into place. Dolly, I thought I would have her do "The Storms Are on the Ocean" because it's one of my favorites. I played it for her. She loved it, of course. But she said, you got some other ideas too? And I said, yeah. And so I played her "When They Ring Those Golden Bells." And she said, that's it. I've sung that since I was a little girl. That's the one I want to do. Again, things just worked out. And I'm so thankful for that. Eddie Stubbs is narrating the project. The script is written by Dr. Cindy Lovell, who's the director of the Mark Twain Home and Museum in Hartford, Connecticut. So I just have to thank the good Lord for making a whole lot of things fall into place the right way, which He has done so much in my life, and I'm very thankful for it. And I'm proud of this project. And I know I haven't mentioned everybody. The list is long. So for those I haven't mentioned, please forgive me, or I can pull out the CD and run down the list and tell a story on every one of them because I love them all. That's for sure.
Show us the CD.
Oh yeah. Yeah, here you go. You want to hear the whole list? Let's see if I can read it here. Well, you got "I'm Redeemed" by Doyle Lawson and Quicksilver. They kill it. You got "Bury Me Beneath the Willow," Emmylou Harris. She kills it. You got "Black Eyed Susie" by my buddy Marty Stewart. I mean, we basically grew up together. We played in the Sullivan family together. He was 12, I was about 17. This was right after the Jim and Jesse days with me and right before Marty went with Lester Flatt. He did "Black Eyed Susie." It's killed. "When They Ring Those Golden Bells" of Dolly, I already mentioned. Got "The Storms Are on the Ocean." It's performed by the great Ashley Monroe. It's so beautiful. Her just perfect voice for it. Then we got "I Am Resolved" by the Shotgun Rubies. Shotgun Rubies, that's the group of girls they're three of my favorite singers in Nashville, and they're not really known yet, but I want them to be known. I felt like Ralph Peer put some things together on the original recordings with different artists, and I wanted to do that with some people that deserve to be on a project like this. And it's Val Story, Delnora Reed, and Danny Flowers, and they sing like angels, and they sing like three angels together, and they killed it. Then we got, let's see where I'm at. We've got "Sweet Heaven When I Die," which I mentioned. That's Steve Martin and the Steep Canyon Rangers. Those guys jumped on board early, and Steve was kind enough to be a part of it and did such a great job. Then we got Kev Moe doing "To the Work," and Vince Gill doing "The Soldier Sweetheart," which I'd already mentioned too. They killed it. And then that's only disc 1. You go to disc 2, and you got "Where We'll Never Grow Old," which I mentioned, by the Church Sisters. Just a beautiful recording of it. You got "Darling Cora," and I got to talk a little bit about Corbin Hazlett here. Corbin Hazlett is the winner of our contest. We had Ralph Peer put an ad in the paper. We did a Facebook campaign and asked people to send in videos of themselves playing a song from the original 1927 sessions. Well, we had about 120, 130 entries, and there was this one guy that we just kept coming back to. I mean, it just was electrifying when you would hear his playing and his singing. And his name is Corbin Hazlett, and he'll knock you out, folks. When you hear his rendition of "Darling Cora," it's just absolutely amazing. I just love the guy. I'm so proud. If he had been born and alive in 1927, I mean, the guy would have been bigger than Babe Ruth. I mean, he's an amazing artist. I'm so proud to have him be a part of it. Then you got "In the Pines," and that's a little trade-off between myself and my buddy Brad Paisley. Brad and I, we decided to do a little Chet and Jerry thing where we trade guitar licks and then we trade vocals back and forth. Then we got "The Wreck of the Virginian," which is also very close to my heart because it's performed by Ashley and Shannon Campbell. I had the privilege to work with Glenn Campbell for 12 of the best years of my life, and to have those two youngins on there that I love with all my heart, it means the world to me, and they do a great job. Then we got "Pretty Polly" by some guy named Carl Jackson. It's okay. Then we got we got The Wandering Boy by the wonderful Sheryl Crow. I mean, she put such a touch on it. It's just absolutely, I'm just proud of it. Great job. Then, I mean, what can you say about Larry Cordell and the Virginia Luthiers? I mean, I got the Luthiers to be a part of it, then I decided to do the version with the lyrics, and I mean, who better than my old buddy Larry? I mean, and he just killed it. Wrote a few new lyrics for it, just like I wrote a few new lyrics for Black Eyed Susie. We decided to add a few things to it, and it came off really great. Then you got this guy named, who's this Jesse McReynolds guy. Who is that?
He's
who's that guy?
a mountain boy from Wise County, from way back in the hills. So far that I could say a lot of things, but I better not.
Did they have to pipe Sunshine in? Was that the
Yeah, we'd get the Grand Ole Opry. They'd go on Saturday night. We wouldn't get it till Monday morning.
The Moonshine come in pretty easy though, didn't it?
Yeah.
The Sunshine they had to pipe in. Moonshine was fairly easy. Okay.
Yeah. Moonshine was very popular where I grew up. Really, it's a tradition really back in Wise County.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember they raided our place quite a bit. On suspicion sometimes, on the real thing a few times, but I went through a lot when I was growing up. Saw a lot of rocks turned over.
Yeah.
You dig a hole, you pick up a rock, you dig a hole in the ground, and you put a bottle of moonshine down in there, and you put the rock back. Yeah.
Is that where Dig a Hole in the Meadow came from?
Could be, yeah.
Maybe that was it.
Only problem the game warden would have, these rocks would be out in the cow pasture a lot of times, so they mistake a rock for something else.
Yeah. It's an honest mistake, you know.
Yeah.
It's an honest mistake.
But it was an interesting childhood. I could write a book, biggest two series book catalogs, I guess, if I told everything. But, some things I guess is better to just keep in your mind, and I hope God will take care of it when you get up there.
Yeah, I bet He will. He will.
Yeah.
And I can't forget to mention too, the last song on the album was the album needed to close just the right way, and it had opened with "I'm Redeemed" and "The Sweet Is the Song." The perfect song for the closing was "Shall We Gather at the River," and I couldn't get anybody better than the Chuck Wagon Gang. Landed them. They were awesome, and it's just, I'm so proud to have them be a part of it. I mean, they're gospel music legends, and it's just, I am so honored. And let me just say to the camera, thanks to all my friends, artists, and people who made this possible, because it's been a total orthophonic joy for me too. Trust me. And thanks to this guy.
Well, thank you, Carl. I don't know if you want to use this or not. We could put these two subjects together.
Okay.
Where you was talking about "Shall We Gather at the River," and I was talking about the moonshine.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So where a pastor in our church was leading the singing one time, and he said his comment was that he was against moonshine whiskey, you know, and he said, "We'll take all the moonshine whiskey and pour it in the river."
Yeah.
He said, "Now the next song will be "Shall We Gather at the River."
Perfect. Now let's all sing "Shall We Gather at the River," right? That's good.
I just had to say that.
You know, I'm telling you, that comedy album, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we could come up with one of them. Man.
Go back and get Steve Martin and you, man. I think we got it.
Yeah. I might be too corny for Steve. I might put it tell one of those jokes. That's supposed to be funny.
That's a guy who wore an arrow through his head. Surely you can't be too corny for that.
Yeah.
That's great. All right. Thank you. All right. Good.